Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Monday morning trading session. I was having a little technical difficulty there. My microphone wasn't working properly, but I trust everyone can hear me all right. Terrific. Thanks, Ryman. All right, so the market's just opened up here, and it looks like we've got a slightly bearish flavor to the start of the day anyway. This is the NASDAQ. For those of you new to the trading room this morning, welcome. I know there's a few new DTS owners here. I hope you'll make yourselves at home. Feel free to ask questions. If there's something you don't understand, by all means, bring it to my attention, and I'll do my best to clarify. So the market's left off trading on Friday here around the 48.70 mark, and opening with a slight gap to the downside, but what has me more interested is this downward bias that we have. So Friday's session, fairly bullish overall, continued tracking sideways for the better part of the day actually, and then started to decline again going into the close, and here we are this morning. So we'll just kind of hold out here for a few minutes, see if we can't get a decent signal to pop up. Soybeans and crude oil are on my other monitor, and they're also kind of sideways. Kind of seems the theme of late. I'll get my Raptor ready. Let's take a look here at the Raptor. We've tested the extreme, if you will. We'll see if they come through here now with a buy signal. That could be a soft edge buy, and like I said, it's still very early. I wouldn't want to get too overly aggressive one way or the other. All right, let's put that away for now. All right, so here we have the hawk working a little bit of a consolidation pattern as well as a possible macro pullback signal. Let's see if I can do this and dial down the risk a little. So to enter the macro pullback, can I cover it above the high? No, I can't. What if I cover it above there? Nope, still can't do it. So if we're going to do it, we're going to need to do it for the whole 2%, which is still, oh dear, what's going on here? Oh, I think, oh yeah, I've got far too many decimal places here. All right, if you're, for whatever reason, your trade manager does not seem to be working correctly, you may need to reinstall it. Now we're into yellow bars, of course. I'm just checking to make sure it's working correctly. Yes, it is. Just as a precaution, I will reinstall these as well. You see, when you have the templates, it's not that difficult to install everything. So a little hint, when you've got your settings the way you like them, do yourself a favor and save it as a template. All right, so here we are, just kind of bouncing around a little. Crude oil starting to tail off a little. So we've produced one signal against the hard edge. This is on the Eagle with crude oil. And it looks as though we may be producing another sell signal. This could be the beginning of a rule of three type formation, in which case we might see one more push higher and then another failure, after which we could expect prices to continue lower. Or if crude oil comes out here and bounces, continues higher, we could anticipate a retest of this whole $48, $90, $49 area. Might get a possible trend change here on the Falcon. Everything is very twisted. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to be a 4-arrow consolidation here on the Hawk. Before you get too crazy about selling it, though, you may want to take into consideration this trend line that's formed, or at the very least that trend line that's formed. Rather than take the signal right on the hash mark, you could offer up a couple of ticks. It's starting to get a little bit rich. All right, well, here we go. Okay, so this little low here at 48.58.5 is going to be a big deal. There we go. Broke through that. That's nice to see. And now, of course, we're holding up on this trend line. We're pretty darn close to it. Good morning, Jim. Here's some advanced decline numbers. Almost 1,000 on the buy, 1640 on the sell. Jim says that the NQ is looking a little stronger than the bank index and the YM. We'll see. They're kind of hunting for something to do here. We'll see whether the YM will help pull the NQ a little bit lower, or if it's going to take a little hop off of this trend line. Trying to give this trade a little bit of room, but I would like to see another push lower. Jim's asking, have you ever heard of trader Larry Williams? Yes, sir, I have. He's, I'm not that familiar with his materials, but of course he's produced a lot of indicators. He developed an accumulation indicator, and of course percent R, I think that's one of his. For those of you who haven't heard of Larry Williams, his claim to fame is he won a trading competition starting, I think it was with $10,000. He made $1 million in a year. So that's well publicized. The part that isn't so well publicized is the next year he lost $1 million. So it kind of reminds me of that trading joke. What's the easiest way to make $1 million trading? Start with 2 million. Oh, I see. I didn't know that. Um, Jim says he uses seasonal on percentage on up and down days. And I think what Jim means by that is historically there's certain days that are bullish days and certain days that are bearish days. I've seen other software that does that as well, trying to forecast the bias on the day based on what's happened historically. And like most things trading related, it works until it doesn't work. Wow, they are sure stuck on this little itty bitty trend line down here. And they're starting to annoy me. Get down there. There you go. Come on, take up the trend line. Yeah, I agree. Jim says price action is still king. At the end of the day, price is the ultimate indicator, of course. Hooray for us. So we hit our little scalp there. I was thinking about actually turning that into a runner, given that it's the first trade of the day and the market's likely to have some momentum out of that. And you can see, there we go. We're getting some follow through now. That's okay. I'm quite content to take my profit. Oh, I see. Jim says the seasonal indicator is based on a 20-year average. And, you know, no doubt there will be days that are bullish and bearish. I wonder with those seasonal indicators, though, if they take into account the different calendar dates for things like FOMC meetings, the, you know, WSA-DE reports, stuff like that, the real big market movers, because of course they fall on different calendar days. Kind of like the 4th of July. It may show up on a Monday one week and the Friday, or sorry, a Monday one year and a Friday the next year. Not quite, but you get my point. I know that, speaking of Larry Williams, I know he's got some very cool indicators, some very sophisticated indicators as well that cost a whole lot of money. I don't know exactly how well they work. Yeah, actually, I think the Awesome Oscillator is one of Larry Williams also. Jim says he likes watching the Awesome Oscillator. He finds a good bias for strength. I think that might be one of his. I know he's got something like that. Maybe he calls his the Ultimate Oscillator, but funny thing is how many of those oscillators are actually just derivatives of MACD. You take a look at them, and somebody took a MACD and tweaked the settings and gave it a new name, but at the heart, it's still MACD. All right, so they took a little bit of the downside. Now they're dragging their feet again. Stinkers. I think crude oil also trying still to head lower. All right, well, technically, this is our trend change signal here on the Falcon, this guy that's developing right here. So the trend line is going from green to red, filter out of sync back into sync. Technically, this is our sell signal. Oh, look at that. It's going to develop right at the primary support line. Yikes. Ooh, and that's going to be a little bit out of reach. All right, can I do it above the median line? I can. That's cozy for my tastes. We don't have the signal printing just yet. I'm anticipating the signal. Sometimes with the Falcon, you're actually better off waiting for the signal to print because you can get multiple warning dots with the Falcon. And sometimes I get cute and I end up getting into a trade a little bit earlier than anticipated. All right, so that's starting to fade from the signal, so we'll put that away for now. Well, here they come again. All right. So all I'm trying to do here is wait for that signal to actually print. I'm a little concerned about the primary support. The market's going to make a bounce here. But I'm trying to offset that with the probability of the signal and the current trend. Of course, it'd be much better to short from up here somewhere. If we got a little bit of a pullback and a sell signal, that would be more desirable than trying to sell from the lows. Here they come. Nice thing about this order is it looks like we can also do a second push on the signal. So the second push simply means that we allow the signal to print, we allow the market to retreat from the signal. That tells us the extent of the current bar. So now we place the order looking for some renewed momentum to fill us. And I'll give it a bar or two. After which I'll say, no thank you, and we'll look to take another signal. Oh, sounds like the owls are still out. Alright, so let's see how that signal is printing. No, it's since gone away. I'm going to close that. We've got a couple of green dots in here that's kind of spoiled the signal. Alright, so here they come again with another signal. Or warning dots, anyways. Oh, it looks like there would be the entry right there at 48.47 3/4. If in fact prices do continue lower from here. Good question, Jim. Jim's asking, is the Dax closed today? I don't know. You'd have to check the exchange. Let me see. Maybe it's on the calendar website. Oh, looks like it's a bank holiday. Bank holiday in China. Oh, thanks, Daniel. Daniel saying yes, it's a holiday in Germany today, so that would mean that the Dax would be closed. Yes, and the Deutsche Bank. Oh, it's German Reunification Day in Germany today. How nice is that? All right, so here's our signal. Submit the order. And we'll see whether or not they continue to trickle lower here. While we're speaking of holidays, I think next week I am out of town on Monday. Yes, I am. Next week is Canadian Thanksgiving. So I'm going to be out of town next Monday. So there won't be a trading room on Monday. We'll resume the trading on Tuesday. Oh, we lucky Canadians. We do our Thanksgiving a month early. And then, of course, because I follow the market so closely, I get to have Thanksgiving again in November. That probably explains why my pants are fitting so tight. Mr. Buckaloo is asking, are you cautious about taking a short at the primary support? Yes, most certainly I am. That's why I'm trying this only with a single contract. I would love to keep my stops a little bit closer, but I do have to give the market a little bit of room. Yeah, Jim's asking about Canadian Thanksgiving. What's the dish of choice? Is it turkey or? It's exactly the same holiday as in the U.S., Jim. And yeah, turkey, hams, lots of potatoes, sweet potatoes, yams. If you close your eyes, you would know no different from your own Thanksgiving holiday. I'm not sure why we celebrate ours a month earlier. It is essential. Well, no, it's, you know what? I looked at this one year because I always assumed that the Canadian Thanksgiving was just borrowed from the American Thanksgiving because, of course, the American Thanksgiving is kind of the original Thanksgiving celebration. But apparently, the British had a Thanksgiving holiday in the autumn, a harvest holiday, and they called theirs Thanksgiving also. And of course, Canada being one of the colonies carried over that Thanksgiving tradition in the autumn as well. So I guess in the UK and in Canada, it was in October, and then the Americans, of course, doing theirs in November. I partly think the American Thanksgiving is geared so you can load up in carbs just before you got to go hit the malls, do that Christmas shopping. Yeah, that's a good one, Stephen. Stephen says, I didn't know Canadians grew anything. I thought they bought all their food from the USA. You know, the funny thing is, it's not funny. But whenever we visit the States, and we're in the Southern California, Arizona, and I wander through the markets, you guys pay the same for your produce as we do. And it's your produce. Because, of course, in the winter, all our produce comes up from Southern California and Arizona, as it does for much of this part of the world. And I was amazed. We were walking through the market and we saw bananas were 25 cents. And my wife said, oh, like bananas are 25 cents a pound. Let's get some bananas. And I looked closer and it was 25 cents each. It was like, really? 25 cents each for a banana? Avocados were cheaper. They were cheaper down in the southern states. But other than that, tomatoes, lettuce, shoot, you guys paid the same as what we do. And like I say, it's your produce. Well, we're still kind of waiting for something to materialize here. Crude oil still kind of stuck. I was waiting for this possible rule of three signal to develop. We've got two signals against the hard edge. For those of you unfamiliar with the rule of three, what we want, it's a counter trend signal. So what we want is we want a trend beforehand. So we've got a relatively bullish band. And then what we want is we want the market to start printing counter trend signals. That's a clue that perhaps things are going to start unwinding and heading lower. But not only do we need the preceding trend, but we need to have a retest of the high and a failure. So this is the part I'm waiting on now. I'm thinking, all right, we've got two counter trend signals, or maybe another move higher, after which if it moves lower again and produces yet another sell signal, that will be the one to try to short. All right. So things getting a little bit more active. All right, another first micro macro cross. So the first micro macro cross, in this case, the micro line and macro line are actually crossing over again, but we did have everything go out of sync, everything come back into sync. I'll probably, because I'm only 2 ticks to get below the low, 3 ticks to get below the low, I'll probably cover below the low. Again, it's just a single, just looking for a little bit of follow through here. Market's really, really sticking to this 48 area. Keep that number in mind. That could be an area of influence the next couple of days. And now we're into yellow bars, so I'm going to scrub that order. We might be moving into a little bit of a sideways range. Jim says the Geiger counter on crude oil's been quite bullish, pulling over to the buy side quite a bit, in spite of crude oil prices trickling lower. Well, I guess that wasn't really a trickle. Here we go. Crude oil, of course, $10 a tick. Still a fairly yeah, good old crude. Oh, sorry, I need to reload my trade manager. So about $100 move there per contract. Oops, sorry, $200 move. All right, bear with me a moment here. It looks like I need to reload my, oh dear, I do too. Okay. I need to reload my trade manager. Not sure why it did that. I thought I had it fixed, but I probably didn't save the workspace. So I'm going to make all those changes one more. Oops. Okay, and so when you have things the way you like it, it's a good idea to save your workspace. And you can just go to Save Workspace. Here's a little hint though. Do yourself a backup. So when you have the workspace the way you like it, do a backup as well. Okay, hold on. I did a save as. That's the problem. There we go. And that way, if for whatever reason the one file becomes corrupted, you have a backup with your settings and the charts formatted the way you like. It saves you a lot of time versus rebuilding everything. All right, the market decidedly sideways and maybe slightly bullish. Working a possible trend change signal here on the Falcon, a possible soft edge buy coming up here on the Raptor. And again, this is a tricky one because we're going into the hard edge where, of course, we normally anticipate a reaction, and it is the top end of what may become a trading range. So it's not one that is without risk. I'm only going to go in with a single. I'm going to try to cover the trade below the low. We're going to get a comparable signal on the Falcon, and we should be producing a first micro macro cross on the Hawk as well. Alrighty, well, let's put that away then. So here's the first micro-macro cross on the hawk. The signal itself is going to develop right here around the 48-58 area, but for a couple of ticks, it's probably advisable to enter above the high. And now this trade also into yellow bars here on the hawk, so we'll scrub that. And the Raptor may be giving us a double pullback signal. So prices are in a downtrend. Market moves into the hard edge, comes out, produces a signal. Pulls back into the band again, comes out, produces a signal. Now we haven't produced that second signal yet, but if we do, that will be a double pullback signal and an excuse to try to short. Alright, so I'm watching the Raptor. There's the Raptor double pullback signal. I'll give this a try, again, just on a single because the market is floundering. I'll place my stops above the swing high. I'm not going to give it room to flop around here. If it reverses and heads through this little double top that we have going on here, it's likely to continue higher. Come on, sellers. See, I'm thinking sideways range. Looking for a possible retest of the low. Not liking this higher swing low relative to these here. The bears starting to lose their grip. And then we come in with another buy signal. This would be a soft edge buy, although I was going to say maybe you want to offer a couple of ticks and just take it in above the high rather than enter right here, just in case. There we go. All right, so this now the last chance really for the sellers to push this market lower. If they fail to do so, the market will reverse and most likely head higher. You could choose to get a little bit more aggressive with your stops at this point. I'm going to wait for them to take out this low before I start rolling my stops. I'm trying not to get too anxious. The Geiger counter has been fairly bearish. Oh, and now they're pulling here to the buy side. Not liking that. Darn it. Still stuck right on this whole trend line. All right, we're going to get a little bit more aggressive here with our stops, or I'm going to get more aggressive with my stops. Come on. There we go. Come on. Somebody take 48.52. There we go. There's 51.75. Let's see, 51.5. There we go. All right. So from here, we should see them try at least to recover to the low of the morning. If I can get this, see this bar close around the 48.50 area. Remember 48.48, I told you that's going to be a substantial number in the days to come. Well, they just can't get away from here. Right, they keep trying. But so far, this current bar that's printing right here is really stuck. Okay, they're going to try to tap me here in a second. We're just going to put that stop back up there for now. If we get a reversal here, again, this is another soft edge buy signal. I'm thinking we're going to see a rally, but I'm trying to give it as much room as possible. All right, here they come. Gonna see a little bit of a rally. All right, let's see. Are we getting a trend change signal anywhere yet? No, the hawk's still kind of conflicted. As is the Falcon. No, very sideways trading. What you could do, when you got the market sideways like this and you don't see a signal printing, and if you wanted to be a little bit more aggressive on the trade, you could use your OCO order and enter a buy and sell order above and below and just let the market break out, show you which way it wants to go. Normally what we would anticipate, because we're stuck here right now off the primary support, if we get a break at the primary support, the market should move two zones, in which case we could see it fall down here, or if it bounces off here again, we should see it move to the primary resistance. So those can be your bracket orders if you're looking to bracket this market. Mm-hmm. All right, here they come. All right. So we filled here the top end of the trading range. I'm going to delete that sell order, and I'm going to place a stop now below the low. Well, we'll use that to start. We should see the buyers try to continue their rally here. But of course, first we need to take out this 48.60 area. Now that we've engaged the top end of the trading range, we're seeing a little bit of a reaction. This is part of our trend change signal. Here's the up portion. Remember, the market should try to push against us a little bit, and then hopefully the buyers will come back in. Come on, buyers. They don't know it yet, but they are going to try to head higher. Let's see what else we got here. All right, we are getting a first micro macro cross. We did get stopped out here on the Raptor, which we halfway anticipated. Might be getting a cloud crossover signal building. So the cloud's trying to cross. The market has breached the cloud. We're looking for that retrace into the cloud and then for the cloud to push the market out. We're already long here on the Falcon. Here is a first micro macro cross that you could also look at buying. No, we're really struggling with follow through today. They're really liking even numbers today, aren't they? 48.50, 48.60. They're sticking to the tens. Come on, get up there. Oh, they're trying, but they're taking their time. we go. Come on. We got the trade to break even. Don't back up now. Oh, whew. Wow, that was hard work. All right, so we can put that first micro-macro cross away. We're almost to the break-even trigger here on the Falcon trade, where we were looking at taking the breakout from the trading range. All right, well, they're pushing higher. All right, so this Falcon trade, making some tracks now to our profit objective. Let's see if I can get this to break even. No, not the break even stop, not yet. Come on. Well, they're plodding along, but it does look like we're going to see a little bit of a move higher here. Come on. Well, prices may actually try to pull back a little bit somewhere through here because we haven't had a trend change signal in the Eagle or the cloud crossover in the Raptor. So our little breakout trade not doing too badly here. For your high probability target, we would have hit that already. Actually doing a little bit better right now. Let's see if we can't get the market to get up here to the primary resistance line. All right, so here's that little bit of a pullback that we were thinking might be coming our way. But if they don't pull back too far, we should be able to nurse this trade a little bit higher. And as I said, my objective would be the primary resistance up here around the 48.77 mark. Well, things very slow, but not a bad start to the week. I think we're going to close up shop here shortly. If anybody has any questions, please type away. Okay, so here comes that pullback. We're going to get a little bit of a cloud crossover signal here, possible retest and a buy signal on the eagle as well. But right now, things looking a little bit more bullish for the NQ. Oh, well, have fun, Jim. Jim's off to Italy for 2 weeks. Fall's a great time to go to Italy. We had friends who went there the other year and they just loved it. So have fun. We'll see you when you get back. All right, you guys, we're going to button up shop then, and I'll see you again tomorrow morning, same time, same station, as they say. And hopefully the market will pick up a little bit from there. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.